Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with Standard 8 History, Chapter number 8 Civil Disobedience Movement. After the resolution of complete independence was passed in the Lahore session, Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch the Civil Disobedience Movement. Before beginning this movement, Gandhiji put up various demands in front of the British government. One of the important demands was to cancel the salt tax and monopoly of British government for manufacture of salt. But because the demands of Gandhiji were rejected by the government, he decided to launch Satyagraha all over India by breaking the Salt Act. Here, in Civil Disobedience Movement, the Civil Disobedience Movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi, as according to it had been started from the Lahore session, and for the complete independence, demand was started from this period. As many demands Mahatma Gandhi had kept in front of the British government, but the British government had not supported Gandhiji for giving any demand rule for the Indian government. So Gandhiji started non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement had been started. And it had been started with the salt satyagraha, as salt, it is the main ingredient of our kitchen and of our day-to-day life. So why to pay tax for the Indian people on salt? This was the demand of Gandhiji, and he was expecting that the British government should remove the salt taxes and should be made free for the Indian people. Salt is an important ingredient in the food of common people. Hence, it was unjust to impose tax on an essential commodity like salt. Therefore, Gandhiji started the Salt Satyagraha. Salt Satyagraha was symbolic. The extensive objective behind it was to break the oppressive and unjust laws of the British government through peace and satyagraha. As salt, it is an important ingredient of our food and of common people. Without salt, we cannot cook any food content at our home. So, it was the mean that to start an satyagraha against the British government, so they had chosen the salt as to start first and to remove the taxes on salt. Gandhiji chose Dandi, a seashore in Gujarat, to begin the salt satyagraha. On 12th March 1930, Gandhiji set out from Sabarmati Ashram with 78 followers for launching the salt satyagraha. A distance of approximately 385 km was covered on foot, and Gandhiji delivered speeches in the villages on the way. Through the speeches, Gandhiji appealed to the people to be fearless and join the civil disobedience movement. Due to Gandhiji's speeches, message of civil disobedience movement spread everywhere. And a favorable atmosphere was created. On 5th April 1930, Gandhiji reached Dandi. On 6th April, Gandhiji broke the Salt Act by picking up the salt lying on the seashore of Dandi, and the civil disobedience movement started all over the country. This was the story of Salt Satyagraha, which was started by Gandhiji by choosing the place Dandi seashore, which is in Gujarat. As from his Sabarmati Ashram, he went on from 12th March 1930 and Salt Satyagraha was started. While moving from Sabarmati Ashram to Gujarat, while moving from these places, whatever the villages he got, he started giving speeches and tried to encourage the people to fearlessly join the civil disobedience movement and support him. And according to the support of people, on 5th April 1930, he reached Dandi, and on 6th April, he broke the Salt Act by picking the salt in his hand. And the civil disobedience movement had been started in India. The Peshawar Satyagraha. In the northwest frontier, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was the most loyal follower of Mahatma Gandhi. He was also known as Frontier Gandhi. He had founded the organization called Khudai Khidmatgar as the Peshawar Satyagraha. According to it, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, he was the follower of Mahatma Gandhi, as he was also known as the Frontier Gandhi, because at wherever the Gandhiji will start Satyagraha, he was following and supporting Gandhiji. So he is known as Frontier Gandhi. On 23rd April 1930, he started Satyagraha at Peshawar. The town was in the hands of the Satyagrahis nearly for a week. The British government gave orders to the Garhwal regiment to carry out open firing on the Satyagrahis, but Chandra Singh Thakur, an officer of Garhwal regiment, refused to open fire. He was court-martialed and was given a severe punishment. As according to the British government, the British officers Garhwal regiment had carried a firing on the Satyagrahis, which was taken in the Peshawar Satyagraha. But a person, Chandra Singh Thakur, he refused the open firing, and due to which he was punished. The British government found itself in a difficult situation due to Satyagraha launched by Mahatma Gandhi. On 4th May 1930, Gandhiji was arrested. Suppressive measures were undertaken all over the country. There was protest all over the country due to the arrest of Mahatma Gandhi. As due to the action of civil disobedience movement, the British government was shattered, and due to which on 4th May 1930, Gandhiji was arrested by the British government, and due to which all the Indian people, they had been in depression, and all the people, they had protested to release Mahatma Gandhi from jail. Solapur Satyagraha. The mill workers were on the forefront in the Solapur Satyagraha. On 6th May 1930, Hartal was observed in Solapur. A huge procession was organized in Solapur district. Collector gave orders of firing on the procession. Many volunteers along with Shankar Shivdare died in the firing. As a result, people started attacking police station, railway station, courts, municipal buildings, etc. The government declared martial law and the agitation was suppressed. Those who took lead in this movement, such as Mallappa Dhanchetti, Shri Krishna Sarda, Qurban Hussain and Jagannath Shinde, were hanged to death. As in Solapur, we can see the Char Hutatma, which is in Park Chowk. It is famous place. As we know everyone, this is the place which can give us message about the Solapur Satyagraha, which was taken on 6th May 1930, and according to that Hartal, for the workers, the mill workers, to support the mill workers, the Satyagraha was started, and it had been taken another route, and which had been leaded for the death of the leaders who had taken a lead in this movement. These four people, the four martyrs, had sacrificed their life for Solapur Satyagraha. The names are Mallappa Dhanchetti, Shri Krishna Sarda, Qurban Hussain and Jagannath Shinde. They had been hanged till death for conducting the Solapur Satyagraha and for taking the lead of this movement. Dharasan Satyagraha. Dharasan Satyagraha, the Satyagraha at Dharasan in Gujarat, was led by Sarojini Naidu. The police lathi charge on the Satyagrahis who came forward to break the Salt Act. The Satyagrahis silently tolerated the blows of the lathi. When they were taken away for medical aid, another batch of Satyagrahis came forward to replace them. This continued endlessly in Maharashtra. Salt Satyagraha took place at Vadala, Malvan and Shirod. Where there were no salt pans, the forest laws were broken. There were jungle satyagrahas at Bilashi, Sangamner, Kalawan, Chirner and Pusad in Maharashtra. The tribal people also took part in the satyagraha in large numbers. As Dharasan Satyagraha, which was started by Sarojini Naidu, and for this satyagraha they had started to break the Salt Act, according to the Rasan Satyagraha and under the guidance of Sarojini Naidu, and due to which British government had charged lathi on the Indian people who were leading this Salt Act, and under this Satyagrahis was harmed and many people had been under medical aid, and when one batch had been finished and one batch had went to medical treatment, another batch was sent for to break the Salt Act, and it had been continued. And where the salt pans are not available at that places, forest laws was broken by the Indian people, as some places they had given, and many different tribal people they had also supported us to go against the British government. Sacrifice of Babu Genu. In Mumbai, there was agitation against foreign goods. The vehicles transported foreign goods were obstructed. Babu Genu said a meal worker from Mumbai was in the forefront in this movement. A truck carrying foreign goods, safeguarded by the police, came in front of Babu Genu. To stop the truck, he laid down on the road. Police threatened him, but he did not move from his place. Finally, he was crushed under the truck. Babu Genu gained martyrdom thus. This sacrifice of Babu Genu gave inspiration to the national movement. As sacrifice of Babu Genu, under this they had given a story about a student who had led his life for not to take the foreign traders or the foreign truck to include in India, and for it he had led in front of the truck, and the truck had crushed Babu Genu, and he had been died in this incident, and it had been given a follow-up to the people, and it had been given inspiration to our people to fight against the British government. Do you know features of civil disobedience movement? All the movements till now were limited only to urban areas, but this movement became a nationwide movement. People from rural areas registered their participation. Women also took part in large numbers. Kasturba Gandhi, Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, Avantika Bai Gokhale, Leelavati Munshi, Hansaben Mehta led the Satyagraha. This movement was based on complete non-violence. The British government was trying to greatly suppress the movement, but the people protested unarmed. Due to this, the Indian people became fearless. As for the civil disobedience movement, not only the men's but also the women's they had given their support to break and to continue the civil disobedience movement and to go against the British government. Different measures the Indian people they had tried to make a control over the British government and to take a right for the Indian people. Round Table Conference. In the opinion of British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald, while the civil disobedience movement was going on, the constitutional issues regarding India should be thought over. For this purpose, he organized a conference at London. This conference is known as Round Table Conference. In the period between 1930 to 1932, 3 Round Table Conferences were organized. Here, Round Table Conference, it is the conference which was arranged by the British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald to make control over the civil disobedience movement. A British officer, a British Prime Minister, he had arranged a table round conference in 1930 to 1932, and under this guidance they were making measures to find out a way to stop the civil disobedience movement and to again make control over the Indian people. First Round Table Conference. Ramsay MacDonald was the chairman of the Round Table Conference. Representatives of England and India participated in the conference. These included Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru, Barrister Jinnah, etc. In the conference, there were discussions on various topics such as responsible government at central level, establishment of federal state in India, etc. Representatives of different political parties in India and rulers of princely states participated in the conference. However, the Indian National Congress did not participate in it. The Indian National Congress was a body that represented the country. Without its participation, the deliberation in the Roundtable Conference were indeed meaningless. As in first Roundtable Conference, the Indian National Congress had not participated, but Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Tej Bahadur Sapru, Barrister Jinnah, and etc. many people they had arranged and they had attended this first roundtable conferences, but without the Indian National Congress, the decisions regarding the Indian people and of our country was not taken. So it was important to have a participation of Indian National Congress. Gandhi Avin Pact. The British Prime Minister expressed his hope of participation of Indian National Congress in the second roundtable conference. In view of the appeal made by the Prime Minister, the Viceroy released Mahatma Gandhi and other leaders from prison. Thus, a conducive atmosphere was created for the Congress to discuss the issues freely. A pact was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and Viceroy Arvind, which is known as the Gandhi-Arvind Pact. According to this pact, the British government assured that the system of responsible government would be added in the proposed Constitution of India. Consequently, Indian National Congress withdrew the civil disobedience movement and agreed to attend the Roundtable Conference. According to the Gandhi-Arvind Pact, in this content, they had decided to release Gandhiji and other leaders from prison, but the condition was to stop the civil disobedience movement and not to have any other this type of satyagrahas in India. And also they had agreed to attend the roundtable conference and they will discuss what points the Indian people want, and according to that they will try to give the opportunities for the Indian people. Second Roundtable Conference. In 1931, the Second Roundtable Conference was organized. Mahatma Gandhi attended this conference as a representative of the Indian National Congress. Along with the Indian National Congress, representatives of various castes and communities, political parties as well as princely states were invited. The government put forth the issues of minorities in the Roundtable Conference. There were differences regarding this issue and also regarding the nature of the prospective federal constitution. Gandhiji tried to bring unanimity in the opinion but was unsuccessful. Finally, Gandhiji became disappointed and returned back to India. As the demand of Gandhiji was not listened by the British government, then Gandhiji returned back to India and again he had decided to continue the civil disobedience movement. According to this, the Indian National Congress in Second Roundtable Conference, they had attended different caste and minorities communities, political parties. They had all of princely states. They were invited in Second Roundtable Conference, but the demand of Gandhiji was not listened in the Second Roundtable Conference, from which the Gandhiji was disappointed. Pune Pact. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar represented the Dalits in the Roundtable Conference. He demanded separate electorates for the Dalits. After the Second Roundtable Conference, the British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald declared communal awards. According to it, Dalits were given separate electorates. Gandhiji went on fast unto death at Yerwada jail, protesting against the granting of separate electorate on the basis of caste. The leaders of Indian National Congress requested Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar to reconsider the demand for separate electorates. Keeping in mind the interest of the nation, Dr. Ambedkar was ready to accept this request. In 1932, Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar signed the famous Pune Pact. According to this pact, separate electorates for the Dalits was cancelled and a provision for reserved seats was made. As in Pune Pact, In second roundtable conference, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, he had represented it for the Dalits in the roundtable conference, and he demanded separate electorates for the Dalits, and it had been given permission, it had been granted, and after observation the Gandhiji had decided to take the help of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and to sign a famous Pune Pact, and according to this pact the separate electorates for the Dalits to be removed and a reserve seats for all the categories should be made. Third Roundtable Conference. In November 1932, the Third Roundtable Conference was organized in England. The Indian National Congress boycotted the conference, thus this conference proved to be futile. As Third Roundtable Conference was organized in England, but many people had not attended this conference, so it had been boycotted, and the Third Roundtable Conference was not as successful as Second Roundtable Conference. Second phase of civil disobedience movement. Gandhiji returned to India from the Second Roundtable Conference with a dejected mind. He decided to restart the civil disobedience movement. Gandhiji was immediately arrested, hence there was discontent among the people. As after returning from Second Roundtable Conference, the Gandhiji had started civil disobedience movement, and after observing this, the Gandhiji was immediately arrested again and he was kept in prison. Hence, there was discontent among the people. Government responded to this movement by using inhuman oppressive methods. There was straggling of civic rights everywhere. The Indian National Congress and its associated institutions were declared illegal. Restrictions were laid on national newspaper and literature. Finally, in April 1934, Gandhiji withdrew the movement and the historic phase of civil disobedience movement came to an end. At last, the government has responded to this movement by using inhuman oppressive methods on the Indian people. By observing these all things, the Gandhiji was threatened and he was in fear, due to which he removed the civil disobedience movement in April 1934. That's all for today. Complete the given exercise and learn the given question and answers.